Chapter 51 Super Critical Strike. Immortal Phoenix Medicine, Immortal Golden Body Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 51 Super Critical Hit. Dead Phoenix Medicine, Dead Golden Body Art. After leaving, Su Chang'e flew on his sword all the way and rushed to Tianying City. He naturally knew what it meant to befriend a saint. Before this saint grew up, he had a deep bond with her. After she transformed, the rewards he would get would be unimaginable. Moreover, there was another important point for his motive to intercept her. The martial arts competition was a two-team competition. He needed a teammate. If he could intercept a future saint to form a team together, he would be able to sweep the entire sect. Don't forget, if the maidservant transformed into an immortal, even drinking water could increase her cultivation. Where can I find such a terrifying teammate? Thinking of this, Su Chang'e became more and more delighted, and his speed of traveling increased by dozens of times. Although it was very fast, he still felt it was slow. Excited. Excited. Must quickly collect the maid. Master, do you want to sit on me? Just then, Xiao Shi's voice suddenly rang in his ears. Su Chang'e was slightly startled. Yes, Xiao Shi is a heavenly dog, how could his flying speed be much faster than his own sword? Why didn't I think of it just now? It seems that sometimes when you are too excited, your IQ will also decrease. Okay, you come out. He nodded slightly. Buzz, a few ripples appeared in the void, and Xiao Shi's huge body suddenly appeared in the air. The heavenly dog form was extremely huge and the flying speed was extremely fast. Master, please come up. Su Chang'e put away his sword, walked to her body, and then rode on it, but he was also a little speechless in his heart. Don't ride a horse or a monster, ride a dog. Suddenly, in his mind, the system subsidy arrived. Ding! You sent out the earthly spirit weapon, Xuanhuan halberd, earthly spirit weapon, Huang halberd, earthly spirit weapon, Xuanhuan halberd, earthly spirit weapon, Haoyue halberd. The 100 million subsidy is effective, triggering an overcritical strike. This overcritical strike multiple, 372,000 times. Congratulations to the host for obtaining Heavenly Spiritual Medicine, Dead Phoenix Medicine. Heavenly Skill, Dead Golden Body Skill. Su Chang'e's eyes revealed a hint of surprise. Why are there spiritual medicines and skills? Should it be weapons? Ding. System prompt. The system subsidy is a random subsidy, sometimes it is a subsidy in quantity, and sometimes it is a subsidy in quality. Su Chang'e understood, this means that it is not that you will get what you send back, and you may also get other things in a critical strike. This is interesting. It was like opening a blind box, and he suddenly became a little addicted. He shook his head and stopped thinking. Immediately, he took out the dead phoenix medicine while rushing on the road and began to measure it. It was about the size of an arm, shaped like a lotus root, porcelain white, and exuded a refreshing fragrance. After taking a sip, he felt his breathing smooth, his ears and eyes clear, and his spirits doubled. The system sounded, dead phoenix medicine, condensed from the blood of the ancient phoenix, it is extremely precious. Just take a bite to repair all the injuries in the body and return to the peak state. Fuck, Su Chang'e jumped for joy. I vaguely remember that the master gave me a Nirvana Divine Phoenix pill before, which was also used for this purpose, but there was only one Divine Phoenix pill, and it was gone after eating it, and this dead phoenix medicine is so big, how many bites can it take? This guy is wearing a resurrection armor. Cool. Su Chang'e's face was full of red, and he immediately looked at the next item, the Death Golden Body Art. The system voice also sounded, the Death Golden Body Art, the ancient immortal king's strong body forging technique, divided into two parts. The upper part is 30 Tiangang, the lower part is 70 Disha, corresponding to the 36th and 72nd floors respectively. This is one of the Tiangang techniques. When you practice it to the extreme, you will transform into a death golden body. The body will be incorruptible, hard as iron, all methods will be invaded, and all evil will retreat. Fuck, I won. Su Chang'e was in high spirits and happy. This is a real body forging technique. Although there is only the upper part, it is enough to make yourself invincible. I like this feeling of pushing the body. As for the lower 70 earthly evil spirits, maybe after the critical strike, it will definitely come out at some point. Don't think about it anymore, he started practicing immediately. Opened the death golden body art and took a look. All of a sudden, he felt as if he had opened a new world, and was in the vast and boundless world. There was a rich spiritual energy from heaven and earth gathering, which was extremely pure and penetrated through the pores of the body and passed into the body, making him feel refreshed and comfortable all over. The first level. The 10th level. The 10th level. The 30th level. The 30th level. Time passed slowly, and an hour passed in the blink of an eye. The Tiangang body forging technique has a total of 36 levels, but after a systematic analysis, the mighty mantras in it were transformed into simple and easy to understand texts, which he soon understood and digested. Su Chang'e opened his eyes, his pupils sparkling, a strong momentum swept from his body, sweeping across the clouds. Ripples were faintly heard in the void, and the terrifying wave rushed to the bullfighting, mighty and spreading in all directions. The next moment, the skills fed back, and the cultivation began to rise. After the palace of gods, it is the nirvana realm. Boom, breakthrough. Half step to nirvana. The first level of nirvana. The third heaven of nirvana. Nirvana realm Chongshan. The seventh heaven of nirvana. The ninth level of nirvana. A Tiangang Kung Fu method directly raised his cultivation to a great level, from the ninth realm of the divine palace to the ninth realm of nirvana. It was a terrifying improvement. He clenched his fist, and a fierce explosion suddenly filled the air, like thunder and eardrums roaring. The sound of tigers roaring and dragons roaring faintly came from within the body. When Xuanhuan heard this voice, he immediately understood that he had become stronger again, and said angrily, "Master, you are so powerful." Su Chang'e smiled slightly as an answer. Next, one dog rushed towards Tianying City. Eagle City, it is located in a basin in the southern part of the East Domain. Businessmen gathered and it was extremely prosperous. At this time, in a luxurious mansion, there was a sound of whipping and kicking, accompanied by a sad and miserable sound. Everyone passing by stopped, shook their heads and sighed. Stop, you slave knows that she was wrong, you slave will never dare again. The residence here is the Huang mansion, which is rich and powerful. It is said that it is a maid named Su Lianyue, but she was sold to the Huang family. In order to facilitate the handling, the Huang family often uses her as a moon slave. Oh, it's so miserable. That maid was sold to the Huang family. Every day she was scolded. She was like a pig or a dog. Alas! Who said that? I have pity on this little girl, she has such a miserable life. Many people passing by the door sighed deeply at the sight, but they dared to step forward to stop them. The Huang family was famous for being powerful in Tianying City. They were entrenched here and were tyrannical. No one dared to provoke them. At this time, another curse came from within the Huang family. "Mom, I asked you to feed the pigs at 10 o'clock, but you dare to be a minute late. If you need an ear, I will cut it off for you." Suddenly, many passers-by understood why Su Lianyue was beaten today. Just because the pigs are fed 1 minute late will be punished. Oh, what a hard life, baby. Let's go, I can't bear to watch anymore. The passers-by shook their heads and sighed, and left one after another. Not long after they left, there was a buzz in the sky, and Xuanhuan arrived with Su Chang'e. "Lord, here we are, I'm going back." The destination has been reached. Xuanhuan understands the situation and automatically returns to the system space. Su Chang'e fell from the sky and entered Huang's house. P.S. The strength system in the front is indeed a bit weak. The author spent 2 hours refining the entire book. After the refinement, the physical strength in the front has reached the 10,000 level, and the dragon-slaying knife is also at the 10,000 level. Readers, please note that new readers will only see the refined version of. Please be aware of this. Window _Taboola equals window _Taboola. tabula.push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target type, mix. Chapter 52, The Hero Saves the Beauty, Punching Her in the Flesh. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 52, A Hero Saves a Beauty, and Punches Her to the Flesh. There was no guard at the door of the Huang family, no one else, no need, because no one dared to provoke the Huang family. As a result, Su Chang'e had a smooth journey and soon followed the screams into the Huang family. When he saw the scene in front of him, even he was shocked and deeply shocked. Oh my God, what a miserable picture that was. A 18-year-old girl, with shackles on her feet, covered in mud and blood, was kept in a pigsty like livestock. An old man and a young man on the side were holding a whip in their hands, and the whip was stained with bright red blood. It was obvious that she had been whipped wildly just now. Huang Jiagan didn't care about this slave girl. After buying Su Lianyue, he arranged for her to live in a pigsty, without any human dignity. This was to make it easier for her to feed the pigs, and to save a room. In the eyes of the Huang family, slaves are not human beings, and they are not worthy of living in houses where people live. In order to prevent her from escaping, the Huang family put heavy shackles on her ankles. There was a thick iron ring on the wall of the pigsty. The shackles were connected to the iron ring and tied her here firmly. She ate pig food and slept in a pigsty. Su Lianyue had been tortured to the point of being inhuman, with a sallow face and a thin body, like a beggar. Oh my God, is this the life of a human being? Huang Jiagan didn't treat her as a human being. She lived worse than pigs and dogs. Su Chang'e felt her eyes moisten, and tears flowed down as she was touched by the scene. The Huang family is really a piece of shit. Shua, that suddenly there was a sound, and the old man waved his whip and cursed fiercely, I'll kill you, and see if you will learn your lesson next time. The whip was a steel whip, extremely heavy, and it struck the air horizontally, making the air emit a terrifying sonic boom. Yunyu doesn't dare anymore, Yunyu really doesn't dare anymore. Seeing the whip coming down again, Su Lianyue was completely desperate, and she fell to the ground and cried bitterly, is her life really not as good as these pigs? She closed her eyes in despair. She waited for a long time, but before the whip fell, she heard a crisp bone sound, accompanied by screams. Crack! Bang! Boom! Boom! Bang! That the sound of smashing resounded. Su Lianyue felt a strong breath rolling like thunder, and suddenly there was a strong wind blowing on her face. Her fists and palms collided, and there was also the sound of wind and thunder. The true energy was surging, and her clothes fluttered. The true energy swept out like a huge wave, like the waves of a river, continuous, and howling like wind and thunder. Suddenly, she opened her eyes, she looked, and saw a man in white appear like a savior, punching out, and the steel whip that was swung was instantly broken into powder, and stars flew everywhere. The old man who was waving the whip was numb in his arms by the punch. Before he could curse, he was punched on the head. Bang! .1 punch, a headshot. The old man's head exploded on the spot, and the bones flew everywhere. Hiss! Su Lianyue was shocked. Who is he? Why did he save her? You, who are you? Why did you break into my Huang family? The young man on the side was shocked and horrified when he saw Su Chang'e's attack. This man was able to blow up the housekeeper with one punch. He might not be a good person. He is the young master of the Huang family, and the old man who was blown in the head is the housekeeper of the Huang mansion. When he spoke, the young master of the Huang family was also full of anger in his tone. No matter who this person is, he dared to break into the Huang family and killed people. He will never leave here today. Boom! That a strong pressure suddenly burst out from the young master of the Huang family. His spine was propped up like a dragon, straight, and the pressure rolled like a wave. Su Chang'e glanced at him coldly. Puff! That the young master of the Huang family's face changed, and he vomited blood, as if he was hit head-on by an invisible mountain. He flew backwards and hit the wall heavily, breaking his bones and tendons. He could no longer stand up straight, and he held the ground and vomited blood. "Wait. Brother, wait a minute, as the saying goes, we don't know each other. If you like this maid, then I'll give it to you." That the young master of the Huang family's attitude changed 180 degrees, and he hurriedly put on a smile and sent Su Lianyue out. Su Chang'e looked at the shocked Su Lianyue with an expressionless face, then walked in front of the young master of the Huang family, disdained to talk nonsense, and kicked him directly. Bang! With one kick, the young master of the Huang family's chest was like a fragile keyboard, and it was directly kicked through, making a crackling sound, and the ribs were broken, and blood was pouring out. He covered his chest with disbelief on his face. "What kind of flesh is this, and it is so terrifying?" Bang! Su Chang'e kicked him again. The young master of the Huang family's head was kicked directly, like a watermelon exploding. It exploded directly and turned into a bloody mist. Plop! He fell heavily and stopped breathing. Soon after, Su Chang'e approached Su Lianyue and punched the shackles, which flew everywhere. The shackles broke and exploded into pieces. After regaining her freedom, Su Lianyue's tears rolled in her eyes, and she stared at Su Chang'e blankly, tears streaming down her face. "From today on, no one can bully you anymore," Su Chang'e said solemnly. After saying this, he pointed at the unsightly corpses of the Huang family's housekeeper and the young master of the Huang family, and said coldly, "In the future, whoever dares to touch you will end up like this." In an instant, tears fell uncontrollably from Su Lianyue's eyes, and her face was filled with tears. "Eyes in the sky, I am finally free." At this time, a sudden change occurred. "What a bastard, why are you acting like a hero to save a beauty?" With a ferocious laugh, an old man in grey robes escaped, with a strong pressure sweeping over him. "He is not like anyone else, he is the head of the Huang family, and he has cultivated to the realm of transformation." When he felt the cultivation aura on Su Chang'e's body, he was suddenly shocked, but the next moment, he regained his ferocious smile and sneered. "Why do you dare to kill my Huang family? It turns out that your cultivation is so strong, but I'm sorry, my Huang family's face cannot be insulted, you can't leave." With a tingling sound, he took something out of his arms and aimed it at the sky. In an instant, a firework shot up into the sky, eventually forming a huge eagle pattern in the sky. Hiss! The Huang family is calling for help. Oh my god, the Sky Eagle cult. Hey! Something big is going to happen now. Countless people looked at the pattern on the sky from a distance, their expressions changed, and their hearts were horrified. The reason why no one in the Huang family dared to offend was because there was this behemoth of the Sky Eagle sect standing behind them. The Sky Eagle cult is strong and tough, loves killing, extremely bloodthirsty, and extremely cruel. Once upon a time, a strong man provoked the Sky Eagle sect, just because he accidentally injured a dog of the Sky Eagle sect. The Sky Eagle sect directly killed the man and his whole family, including the newborn baby. It is famous far and wide, and many people's expressions change upon hearing it. This Tianying city was formerly called White Rock City. It was later conquered by Tianying City, and the city lord's palace was destroyed. The Zhou family was supported in ascending the throne, and Tianying City was regarded as its subordinate city. There are many cities like this that the Sky Eagle sect has taken control of. It didn't take long. Several extremely powerful auras rushed in one after another. The leader of the Sky Eagle sect and several senior officials under his command are all here. Chapter 53, The small blood-eating veins erupted, and the Sky Eagle cult was completely destroyed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom! A flash of lightning flashed across the dark red sky, filled with extreme pressure, like a rolling sea and thunder. The overwhelming pressure enveloped the hearts of everyone in Tianying City. From the reflection of the lightning, several burly figures were seen descending, hands behind their backs, Dharma images on their backs. Each person stood like a god, overlooking the vast Tianying City. When the powerful true Qi intertwined and collided with each other, even the space collapsed, and it seemed that the battle was about to collapse and split the sky and the earth. Puff! Some people spit out blood due to the pressure, some people's faces turned red, their qi and blood were impetuous, their spines bent, and they knelt on the ground. In an instant, the atmosphere became solemn and solemn. Countless people who were close to the Huang family also understood what happened at this time. The news spread, it was only a breath. The whole Tianying city understood that someone was used to the Huang family's behavior and rescued the maid. This is really a mess. Alas, the Tianying sect is so powerful, and the leader is here in person this time. The situation of that young man is worrying. Alas, it's so hard. I hope that young man will leave quickly, the farther the better. Countless people clicked their tongues, but they didn't dare to say much for the sake of face, for fear of being sensed by the Tianying sect. Haha, kid, no matter how strong your cultivation is, you can't escape death with all the masters of the Tianying sect. The head of the Huang family laughed. The leader of the Tianying sect and many high-level officials also set their sights on the Huang family mansion at this time. When he saw the light figure in white clothes with the pressure of nirvana, he smiled slightly and didn't care. This kind of cultivation, any of us can do it. Huang Jian, is that the kid? That the leader of the Sky Eagle sect asked coldly. The head of the Huang family immediately said, that's him. You have to make the decision for me. That the leader of the Sky Eagle sect smiled coldly and said lightly, it's just a small fish in the nirvana realm. I can kill it with one hand. As soon as the voice fell, Su Chang'e smiled coldly, and waved his hand at the void lightly, saying, little devourer. Suddenly, ripples appeared in the void, and a huge, almost sky-covering dog appeared, entrenched in the void, and a strong breath came to his face, like a dark cloud covering the sky, and the breath of oppression oppressed the entire Sky Eagle city. Everyone in the scene suddenly felt a pressure from the depths of their souls, and the suffocating pressure made them stand up straight. Some even had their legs exploded with a bang, and the whole person immediately knelt on the ground, looking at the heavenly dog in the void in fear as if looking up at a god. The face of the leader of the Sky Eagle cult turned pale, and a flash of shock flashed in his eyes. Ancient beast bloodline. Okay, let's go. The face changed quickly, and he turned around and left with his hands. Although this kind of beast has not yet grown into a complete form, the strong bloodline suppression alone is unmatched. Want to leave? Too late. Su Chang'e shouted coldly, waving his hand and said, Shao Shi, kill them all, leave no one. Yes, master. Endless light burst out from Shao Shi's body, the divine light flashed, covering the sky, and his wings suddenly spread out, covering the sky and the sun, covering the entire Sky Eagle city, and the blood breath of the ancient beast burst out in full. This breath is like a vast and boundless galaxy, hanging in the void, and also blocking all the surrounding space. Even a fly is separated. Suddenly, all the members of the Sky Eagle cult felt that there was an invisible mountain hanging above their heads, pressing them to be frightened and suffocated, gasping for breath. Prince, I was wrong. I was short-sighted and offended you in what happened today. Please don't worry, let me go. The leader of the Sky Eagle cult begged for mercy directly. There is no way, the enemy actually has an ancient beast following him, who can resist this? The faces of many Sky Eagle cult leaders behind him also changed, and they looked at the Sky Eagle cult leader nervously, hoping that his plea for mercy would make the enemy show mercy. However, later, Su Chang'e didn't even look at him, and coughed twice, and turned his face away. Shao Shi immediately understood what he meant, and his terrifying blood burst out in an instant, like a tidal wave. The wind whistled, and the thunder resounded through the sky. Don't, senior, I was wrong. Bang! Shao Shi made a move, and the terrifying pressure crushed him, like an ancient sacred mountain falling, and the Sky Eagle cult leader instantly turned into a ball of blood mist. Then, Shao Shi looked at the many Sky Eagle cult leaders, without any nonsense, and oppressed him with blood pressure. Bang! 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 Under the pressure, many high-ranking members of the Sky Eagle cult were almost powerless and all died in an instant. There were groups of blood mist in the void, and the bloody smell was pungent. All the people in Sky Eagle City who smelled it were shocked and their hearts were shaken. Hiss! It turns out that the young man. Be careful. Don't make irresponsible comments. Hiss! That everyone vaguely guessed that perhaps the young man in white was a big man from a holy land, or a key target of training by a powerful sect. After all, there are such powerful monsters following him. If you say that his identity is ordinary, who would believe it? To destroy the Huang family and the Sky Eagle cult, the backer of the Huang family, is like a strong dragon crushing a local snake, crushing it with overwhelming force. The head of the Huang family was so frightened that he was shaking all over. His face was as pale as paper, and he looked like a clay sculpture or a wooden sculpture. He stared at Su Chang'e blankly, his lips trembling, and he couldn't speak. The leader of the Sky Eagle cult and those high-ranking officials were all killed. All dead. My heart was shocked, and I felt deeply unbelievable. How could this be possible? How could there be such an ancient beast following that young man? Su Lianyue was also shocked, staring blankly at Su Chang'e's figure, and only felt that his figure was extremely majestic, as if he was an insurmountable mountain. Anyone who bullied her would stand in front of her and protect her. Su Lianyue. In a trance, she heard Su Chang'e calling her. She was shocked and hurriedly responded, You knew. The head of the Huang family is left to you, kill him with your own hands. Su Chang'e said lightly. She knew that Su Lianyue must hate the Huang family to the bone, so she killed him herself and let her kill him, which would definitely gain a lot of goodwill. The fact shows that Huang guessed right. Su Lianyue heard the words, and suddenly a warm current arose in her heart, grateful and tearful. Yes. Yuenu knows. Su Chang'e threw her a knife. She held the knife, with tears on her face, but also determination and tenacity, and walked quickly to the head of the Huang family. The head of the Huang family regretted it so much that he cried and begged, Huang, Yuenu, I did it on purpose. Those were all done by my son. It was Huang's idea to let you sleep in the pig pen and eat pig food. It had nothing to do with me. You have to distinguish right from wrong. Puff. The white knife went in, and the red knife came out. The head of the Huang family fell in a pool of blood, and blood flowed all over the ground. After killing Huang, Su Lianyue looked up at the sky. For the first time, she felt redemption and liberation, as if all the pressure on her head had been removed and she saw the light of day again. In fact, she hated the Huang family to the bone. The Huang family didn't treat her as a woman at all. She was bought and became a slave. She had no freedom, no dignity, nothing, and lived worse than pigs and dogs. She had nightmares every night, dreaming that she would be killed alive one day, or starved to death or frozen to death. But now, she was finally free. She turned her head to look at Su Chang'e, and her desperate face finally showed a colorful smile, and then suddenly fell asleep. She killed her enemy with her own hands and was free. She felt a sense of exhaustion coming over her body and fell into a deep sleep. Chapter 54, Destroy the Huang family and take Su Lianyue away. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With the destruction of the Huang family, all the people in the Huang family instantly became like frightened birds, and some people slipped out of the back door, but they were all chased by Su Chang'e and all of them were beaten to pieces with one punch. Not long after, the Huang family was completely destroyed, and no one escaped, cut the grass and root, leaving no one alive. Then, Su Chang'e continued to carry out the fine tradition of searching for spoils. The Huang family searched for a while, and all the valuable items that could be seen by the naked eye, such as some thrones cast in gold, swords inlaid with diamonds, rare family treasures, night pearls hanging on the wall. As long as they were valuable, they were all looted. At the end of the looting, a cellar was found in the backyard. Enter the cellar. The inside was brightly lit, very deep, and dozens of iron boxes were placed on the shelves. Su Chang'e smashed all the boxes with one punch, and white spirit stones immediately flowed out of them. With a sweep of his spiritual sense, there were 380,000 first-grade spirit stones, which should be the wealth accumulated by the Huang family over the years, but now, they all belonged to him. In addition, some common weapons and elementary skills, as well as some silver and gold, some other medicinal materials, and agate pearl necklaces, gold and silver used by ordinary people were found in the cellar. Su Chang'e accepted everything that came and took them all. Although gold and silver were of little use to monks, it was very cool to pick up girls in the ordinary world. Then, he walked to the outside world, picked up the sleeping Su Lianyue, flew on the sword, and left. As for the remnants of the Sky Eagle sect who didn't come, I'm not in a hurry for the time being. I'll go back to take care of the most important thing for the reincarnation of the saint. I'll kill the remnants of the Sky Eagle sect when I'm free. Long after I left, Sky Eagle City burst into cheers. I didn't expect that he turned out to be such a big shot. The Sky Eagle sect was so bold that it actually threatened to destroy them alone. How shameless. I'm dying of laughter. Ha ha ha, Sky Eagle City will regain its independence in the future. Sky Eagle City has to pay heavy taxes to the Sky Eagle sect every year. It's called taxes, but it's actually protection fees. The huge amount of protection fees every year makes them breathless, but now, it's not necessary. The pressure on their heads suddenly decreased, and everyone cheered and thanked Su Chang'e from the bottom of their hearts. Just as Su Lianyue was taken away by Su Chang'e, Taishan Dao sect, Tiantai Peak, in a quiet room, Sikong too was sitting cross-legged here to practice, but suddenly, he felt his heart skip a beat, as if he had lost something, and his heart suddenly became empty, which made him feel depressed. Strange. He frowned and could no longer practice quietly. Su Chang'e carried Su Lianyue all the way and returned to the sect at dusk, entered the house. He put Su Lianyue on the bed and then sat cross-legged beside her. He knew that Su Lianyue had never slept well since she entered the Huang family. After all, how could she sleep well if she lived and ate with livestock? Now, I should let her have a good sleep. Time passed slowly, and 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. 3 days later, the morning was fresh, and there was a refreshing fragrance flowing in the air. Su Lianyue slowly opened her eyes, looked around, and murmured in confusion, "Where am I? This is Taishan Dao sect. You have slept for 3 days, come, eat something first." Su Chang'e said briefly, and then handed over the noodles that had been prepared long ago. Su Lianyue understood that this lifesaver brought her to the sect and took care of her for 3 days. Benefactor. Her nose was sore, and tears overflowed from her eyes. She was born in a family that favored boys over girls. Her parents sold her to the slave market when she was 5 years old. She was beaten and scolded for so many years. Everyone treated her as a slave. No one ever treated her as a human being, let alone treated her so well. She looked at the bowl of noodles with tears in her eyes and took it in her hand. Hunger made her ignore her image and immediately began to eat it up. Eat slowly, don't choke, there is still meat here. Su Chang'e took out a whole braised pork elbow and handed it to her. Su Lianyue suffered inhuman treatment in the Huang family. Where had she eaten such a delicacy? She looked at the braised pork elbow, and a warm current flowed through her heart. She thanked Su Chang'e profusely, then took the pork elbow and ate it up. Alas! Su Chang'e looked at her like this and couldn't help but sigh. Soon, Su Lianyue finished eating the noodles and elbows, and finally recovered some strength. She came to Su Chang'e, tears in her eyes, and said, "My benefactor, please accept Yunu's greetings." Su Chang'e helped her up and said softly, "Don't be so reserved, and don't use the name Yunu anymore. I will give you a new name, Lianer, which means that all your unbearable past is over." Su Lianyue was grateful and said with tears, "Thank you, my benefactor. Don't be reserved, just call me Gong." Su Chang'e smiled kindly. "Well, Lianer remembers it. Come with me." Su Chang'e took her hand and walked out. Su Lianyue was very obedient and well-behaved. As if she had found support, she held her hand tightly and followed her. Along a mountain road, Su Chang'e led her to Qingtan in the back mountain. She took out a white dress from the storage bag and whispered, "Go take a shower and change into new clothes. If you need anything, tell me anytime and I will satisfy you." "Ah, thank you, sir." Su Lianyue's heart was full of gratitude, and tears of emotion kept flowing from her eyes. Her clothes were already worn out and covered with mud. Now that she had new clothes, she felt warm and grateful. Su Chang'e did not forget to wipe her tears and said, "Don't cry. Girls don't look good if they cry." Su Lianyue's heart was full of warmth. For the first time in her life, she felt the warmth of being cared for. From the time she could remember until now, she had never experienced the warmth of the world. Now Su Chang'e was good to her, and she was deeply moved and afraid that this was just a dream. Then, Su Chang'e left. About an hour later, Su Lianyue finished her bath. Her dirty face became as white as jade, exuding a clear and spiritual aura. She wore a white dress and looked very graceful. However, due to long-term abstinence and malnutrition, her face was still slightly sallow and her figure looked thin and frail. Soon, she returned to her room. "My husband, where should I go in the future?" She looked around, with a look of strangeness and fear on her face, afraid of being driven away. Su Chang'e smiled kindly and said, "This will be your home in the future. You can stay as long as you want. No one will drive you away." Su Lianyue's heart suddenly felt warm. Su Chang'e took out 1,000 spiritual stones and a technique from the storage bag, which were all found in the Huang family. He said in a friendly manner, "Lianyue, take these spiritual stones to absorb, and practice this technique for a while." Su Lianyue felt warm in her heart, but was flattered at the same time, and said in a trembling voice, "Grandpa. Grandpa, you are so good to Lianyue. Lianyue doesn't know how to repay you. Lianyue is just an ordinary person, with a dull talent. Lianyue is inferior, and I am afraid that I can't repay your kindness in the future. She is not a cultivator." Su Chang'e gave her so many spiritual stones and techniques to absorb as soon as he came. She was moved and felt panic and self-blame, and a feeling of inferiority came over her. "Don't be inferior, you are not a slave in my eyes, but a companion, take it." Su Chang'e said softly. "Not a slave." Su Lianyue's heart moved. Suddenly, she was deeply moved, her nose was sore, and she couldn't help crying. The prince didn't treat her as a slave, but a real person. She met a good person. Chapter 55, One Step Ahead, the Millennium Creation Pill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 55, One Step Faster, a Millennium to Create a Pill. After a moment, Su Lianyue stopped her emotions and began to absorb the spirit. Not long after, she suddenly said in surprise, "Oh my God, I actually stepped into the acquired realm." Su Chang'e took a closer look and realized that just a piece of spirit had caused her cultivation level to go straight to the second level of the Hotian realm. This is too evil. He is indeed the reincarnation of a saint. But after entering the Hotian realm, her cultivation slowed down. Su Chang'e understood that this was because she had not yet transformed into an immortal, and was still in a mortal body. "You absorb it slowly, I'll go out first." He walked out and sat cross-legged outside. "In my mind, the system subsidy has also arrived. Bite. You give away 1,000 pieces of high-grade spirit, yellow-level magic concentration technique, tens of billions of subsidy effects, triggering a supercritical hit. Supercritical hit multiplier, 379,000 times. Congratulations to the host for getting .3790000000000, high-grade spirit. Tianji sword technique, earth-shattering cross slash. A sword technique. Su Chang'e's eyes lit up. The system sounds, earth-shattering cross slash, the killing technique of the ancient strong man. One slash is enough to create a terrifying cross. The ground will collapse layer by layer due to the slash, forming 1,000 deep cross crack. If it hits a monk, it will cut out the character 10 in his body and soul, and then his body and soul will be destroyed, and his body will die and his soul will disappear. Wow, this wave of blood profit. Su Chang'e was pleasantly surprised. This sword technique sounds terrifying, and it also looks extremely terrifying. The ground collapses when the cross crosses it. This special effect is awesome. Last time, the attack range of the Taishang electric knife was not large, but its attack power was concentrated, which was equivalent to killing a single person, and this earth-shattering cross cut has a large range and can be used to fight in groups or clear the field. The two knife skills match each other. It's so cool. While thinking about it, he was also overjoyed in his heart. This time, not only did he win favor with the reincarnation of the saint, but he also received a system subsidy. This feeling of killing two birds with one stone is so refreshing. But Su Chang'e suddenly thought of something. The martial arts competition is coming soon. We must quickly find an opportunity for Lianyue to help her break through quickly. Things like opportunities are easy to say but difficult to say. When someone walks on the road, he encounters an opportunity, but there are also people who have searched all over the Xuanhuan realm and worked hard for a lifetime, but they can't find any chance until they die. This kind of thing is so deceiving, but Su Chang'e is not worried. There is a dark soul emperor around you that you can use, so what are you afraid of? He immediately found a hidden place, took out the bracelet, and then took out the half-piece of spirit that he had not used last time and placed it next to the bracelet. As soon as the spirit was placed next to the bracelet, a squeaking sound immediately sounded in the air, and the spirit disappeared. Immediately afterwards, the figure of the Dark Soul Emperor appeared in front of his eyes. He finally can see the outside world. The Dark Soul Emperor's face was a little pale, and he was obviously very eager to wake up. Su Chang'e didn't waste time and said straight to the point, I have cut off that maid's beard, but she has not transformed into an immortal, so now I still need your help. You can help me look at other people's beards. Destiny, let's see if there is a breakthrough opportunity or something. I will intercept Hu. Hearing this, the Dark Soul Emperor suddenly felt happy. That's great. I'll go out with you. Su Chang'e shook his head and said, there is no need to go out, we can just stay at the sect. I have already decided where to go. Oh. Dark Soul Emperor said, where to go? Tiantai Peak. Su Chang'e turned to look at Tiantai Peak, with a strange arc at the corner of his mouth, and said, the opportunity to intercept Hu is not as exciting as the opportunity to intercept those bastards from Tiantai Peak. But senior, you have to hide yourself so that they don't find you. Hearing these words, the Dark Soul Emperor thought, and his figure suddenly turned into a grain of sand and landed on Su Changsong's heart. The grains of sand are so tiny that you can't even see them unless you look closely. This is the great magical power of the Dark Soul Emperor, a drop in the ocean. Immediately, Su Chang'e used Tai Chu Yin and Yang ghost steps to sneak in towards Tiantai Peak silently. It didn't take long. Su Chang'e came behind a disciple of Tiantai Peak. This young man was walking in front, unaware that the shadow behind him was gradually lengthening in the sunlight, and a figure sneaked into his shadow. Senior, what is the fate of this person? Inside the shadow, Su Chang'e asked in a deep voice. The Dark Soul Emperor took one look at it and immediately showed disdain on his face, saying, it's very ordinary. Su Chang'e said nothing more. This brother followed a road and soon arrived at a square. There are many people in the square, and everyone is sitting cross-legged to absorb the spiritual energy between heaven and earth, practicing against the clock, and preparing for the martial arts competition. Su Chang'e glanced at these people one by one, observing in secret. Then I asked the Dark Soul Emperor one by one, and most of the people I got were mediocre people. Suddenly, Su Chang'e's eyes narrowed. A young man in black appeared in his sight. He had a lean figure and a very mean face. It's Xuanhuan. Hello, senior brother Hu. Many brothers saw Xuanhuan coming and hurriedly came forward to salute. As a disciple of the inner sect, Xuanhuan has a very high status. He usually behaves very viciously and will definitely retaliate. Many disciples are afraid of him. Xuanhuan glanced at everyone and didn't even bother to pay attention to them. He went directly to the center of the square to absorb spiritual energy. There was a spiritual array there, and the spiritual energy was dozens of times that of other places. Senior, what is Xuanhuan's fate? Su Chang'e asked with a fierce look in his eyes. The Dark Soul Emperor glanced at Xuanhuan and said contemptuously, it's also very ordinary. Just at this time, a thin, pointed-faced, mouse-like disciple stood up and walked towards the main peak. His goal was the teleportation array of the main peak. Su Chang'e noticed him and asked quietly, Senior, what is this person's fate? The Dark Soul Emperor glanced at him, his pupils suddenly condensed, and said, quick, follow him. Su Chang'e was immediately happy to see the prey. He knew that there would be gains this time. With a swish, he teleported out of the shadow, sneaked into the shadow of the sharp-nosed monkey-cheeked disciple, and followed silently. Along the way, the Dark Soul Emperor explained, after a cup of tea, this person will get an inconspicuous board on the second floor of the Sutra Pavilion. There is a layer inside the board, which contains a 1,000-year-old spirit pill. After he got this thing, he immediately absorbed it, and his strength increased greatly in just a few breaths, breaking through the 5 realms. Su Chang'e was overjoyed. 1,000-year-old spirit pill. That's it. The Dark Soul Emperor suddenly lost his voice at this time. Oh no, I'm overdrawn, I'm going to sleep. Before he finished speaking, the jade bracelet flashed, and he entered it and fell into a deep sleep. Su Chang'e ignored him and followed the sharp-nosed monkey-cheeked disciple directly. P.S. The author updates on time at 9 o'clock every morning, which is very stable. Sometimes he updates in advance, sometimes he updates suddenly, and sometimes he updates more. Window, _tabula equals window, _tabula, _tabula. Push, mode, thumbs, feed, 01, container, tabula, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target _type, mix. Chapter 56. The Millennium Creation Pill is in hand. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 56. The Good Fortune Pill is in hand. Main peak, in front of the teleportation array, Su Chang'e silently left the shadow and appeared behind the sharp-nosed and monkey-faced disciple. Once a person enters the teleportation array, he will be teleported to the sutra library in an instant. There is no light in the teleportation array, and the shadow will disappear for an instant, so Su Chang'e left the shadow. The sharp-nosed and monkey-faced disciple entered the teleportation array and his figure disappeared instantly. Su Chang'e followed closely and disappeared from the teleportation array. Soon, 2 lights flashed by the door of the sutra library, and 2 figures appeared. Hey, it's you, a little transparent. Why are you here? That the sharp-nosed and monkey-faced disciple glanced sideways and immediately saw Su Chang'e. With a hint of scum at the corner of his mouth, Su Chang'e deliberately let him see it. After all, this person has come to the door of the sutra library. If he lets him take the good fortune pill, then he has come here in vain. He has to think of other ways to outsmart him. Su Chang'e looked around and found that the sloppy old man was still lying on the recliner, but he had fallen asleep and was still sucking the wine gourd in his mouth. He smiled faintly and said, "Can you come?" "Ha ha ha, you can come." The sharp-nosed and monkey-faced disciple named Zhang Zongbao, who was extremely cunning, sneered, "I know, which floor are you going to go to, you little transparent?" Su Chang'e thought for a moment and said, "Master told me that the higher the floor of the sutra library, the better the things inside, so I want to go to the top floor." As he said that, he looked up at the 6th floor of the sutra library, his eyes full of longing. It seems that he really wants to go to the top floor. The top floor? You? Zhang Zongbao looked at him in disbelief and sneered, "Can you get up there?" There are formations at the entrance to each floor of the sutra library. The higher the floor, the more terrifying the formation, and the easier it is to get up there. Luckily, this is a special period, so the leader has weakened the formation. Even though it has been weakened, Zhang Zongbao still thinks that a nobody like Su Chang'e can't get up there at all, and it's even difficult to get to the 2nd floor. How can a nobody who can't practice cultivation contend with that formation? Su Chang'e said lightly, "Master told me that the road to cultivation is long and arduous, and you need perseverance to finally get up there." In fact, he said all this just to pave the way for Zhang Zongbao. When he said this, he felt that the timing was not right, and then he said, "How about this, let's make a bet, I will be able to go up to the 6th floor within 1 incense stick. If you believe it, go up there and wait for me first, remember to keep track of the time." Zhang Zongbao smiled coldly, "You are just talking nonsense. 1 incense stick. I'll give you 10 incense sticks of time, and you may not be able to go up." Su Chang'e raised his mouth slightly and said, "You underestimate me too much. If I can go up in 1 incense stick, what should you do?" "Ha ha ha, what a little transparent. Okay, I'll go to the 6th floor and wait for you. I want to see how much you can brag." Zhang Zongbao laughed and immediately entered the sutra library, climbed to the 2nd floor, and then climbed to the 3rd floor. It didn't take long for him to reach the top. When he reached the top floor, he took out a stick of incense, lit it, and started counting. When Su Chang'e saw him go up, he sneered, "Only a fool would bet with you." He quickly entered the sutra library, went straight to the 2nd floor, and began to look around. After a while, he found a stone slab on the bottom layer of a bookshelf near the corner. The stone slab was purple-gray, with a lot of dust on it, and it was not eye-catching. Su Chang'e took his hand and blew away the dust on it, and then began to check for clues. After a while, he found a bulge on the stone slab, which seemed to be a mechanism, pressed the bulge, and with a click, the stone slab automatically separated, revealing the inner layer. Suddenly, a strong fragrance of elixir came to the nose. The smell was like spring nectar, which made people feel refreshed and refreshed. Su Chang'e looked down and saw that the object was about the size of a fingernail, round, like a bead, emerald green, and a pure aura of good fortune was flowing through it, which was very extraordinary. This is the good fortune pill. In order to prevent Zhang Zongbao from noticing the clues, Su Chang'e quickly put the good fortune pill on his body. As for the stone slab, it was useless, so he put it back to its original place. Get it done. He left the sutra pavilion and then took the teleportation array and left. After Su Chang'e left, Zhang Zongbao on the 6th floor waited and waited, but never saw him come up. Ha ha ha, little transparent, with your cultivation level, you still want to come to the 6th floor. Don't dream. After waiting for a while, the incense in front of him burned to the bottom, and the time was up. You are so boastful. Zhang Zongbao laughed, his head held high, and he was very proud. Then, he went downstairs. He went around every floor, but he couldn't find Su Chang'e. This made him happy, and he smiled and said, maybe he went up, lost the bet, and was so ashamed that he ran away. Zhang Zongbao was in a very good mood, as if he had drunk pulse. Next, he began to look for his own opportunity. The reason why he came here today was because he was practicing in the square of Tiantai Peak just now. But at a certain moment, he suddenly felt that the Sutra Pavilion had his own opportunity. So he came here. Time passed slowly, and in the blink of an eye, it was several hours. Zhang Zongbao searched for a long time, but he didn't find anything. This made him gradually irritable, and he always felt that the treasure destined for him seemed to have passed him by, but it was also very accurate, which was very strange. In the end, he returned to Tiantai Peak in a depressed mood and continued to practice. Chapter 57 The Terrifying Reincarnation of a Saint. Even drinking water can increase his cultivation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 57 The Terrifying Saint is reincarnated, and his cultivation is increasing even after drinking water. On the other side, Su Chang'e quickly returned to Lihua Peak. Thousands of creation pills are enough for Zhang Zongbao to break through the 5 realm pills in a row. This can definitely be used as an opportunity for Lianyue. That you must know that Zhang Zongbao has been a member of the sect for many years and has a very high level of cultivation. Even he has broken through the 5th realm. Of course, there is no need to say more about Su Lianyue. More importantly, if such a terrifying treasure is given away as a gift, then the system will subsidize the treasure back and it will definitely be even more terrifying. Soon, Su Chang'e returned to the house. At this time, Su Lianyue had absorbed all 1,000 middle-grade spiritual stones, but strangely, her cultivation had been stagnating in the Hotian realm. She didn't know why. She looked confused and had a question mark on her face. Only Su Chang'e knew that this was the reason why he had not yet been reborn. How powerful is the posture of a saint? How can a mere 1,000 spiritual stones activate her physique? Lianyue, I just went there and found this elixir for you. Take it and absorb it. Su Chang'e walked in front of her, first touched her head, and then spoke in a friendly manner. Hearing that something was going to be given to her, Su Lianyue trembled, flattered, and said, This, sir, Lianyue can't take it for free. I told you not to be so formal. Su Chang'e grabbed her hand directly and forced the 1,000 creation pills into her hand. After finishing, he added, Absorb it quickly, otherwise I will get angry. Ah, this. Su Lianyue suddenly felt deeply moved in her heart again. My father-in-law is so domineering. It turns out that domineering can also be so gentle. Immediately, she took the good fortune pill. When the elixir entered her mouth, she felt a warm current entering her mouth. It melted in her mouth, entered her body along her throat, and then spread throughout her limbs. The power of the 1,000 creation pills was very mild. Su Lianyue felt warm all over her body, as if she was sunbathing in the sun. A stream of heat rose from her lower abdomen and traveled through the various meridians and blood vessels in her body. Boom! Suddenly, there was an explosion inside her body. It was as if some shackles had been broken. In an instant, she felt uncomfortable all over her body, and her breathing became several times easier. Suddenly, a coercion like a vast galaxy inadvertently emerged from her body, and ripples appeared in the space, becoming like a horizontal plane, but soon disappeared. This is the pressure of the saint. The aura of the holy realm escaped from her body inadvertently, but it soon disappeared. Then, her skin suddenly became as smooth and fair as jade, her thin figure suddenly transformed, her back was propped up like a keel, her legs suddenly grew taller, her whole person seemed to have suddenly grown a lot, reborn, and became immortal. Gone with the wind, her face is as bright as the moon, and her appearance is like a fairy. Su Chang'e took a deep breath and looked at her without moving his eyes for a moment. If what he expected was correct, at this moment, Su Lianyue should have transformed into an immortal, and her physique transformed into a psychic jade body. The next moment. Boom! Breakthrough. The second level of the acquired world. The fifth level of acquired heaven. The seventh level of Hotian realm. The ninth level of the acquired world. Qihai. Transformation. Golden body. Dharma. Move blood. The coercion on Su Lianyue became stronger and stronger, and waves of terrifying waves swept across, sweeping in all directions in an instant. The soaring level of cultivation was beyond Su Chang'e's expectation. He knew that the reincarnation of saints was extremely terrifying, but he never imagined that it would be so terrifying. After activating her physique, how many realms had she broken through in a row? A total of 7 realms. As expected of the reincarnation of a saint, this physique is truly terrifying. In the next moment, Su Lianyue took a breath and felt the sweetness in the air, like nectar. She subconsciously took a breath. Boom! Another breakthrough in cultivation. Moving to the first level of blood realm. Moving to the third level of blood realm. Moving to the fifth level of the blood realm. Moving to the ninth level of the blood realm. With just one breath, her cultivation reached the ninth level of moving blood in an instant, and she was only one step away from the next level of the divine palace. Su Chang'e was overjoyed. The faster Lianyue grows up, the more he will benefit. At this moment, he suddenly felt a flash of light in front of him, and a light curtain appeared in front of him. It turns out that the system prompts entries. System prompt: Su Lianyue is breathing, her cultivation level is +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. Su Chang'e. Damn it, is this the terrifying thing about the reincarnation of a saint? Awesome. Really awesome. At this time, Su Lianyue also felt the changes in herself, and her pupils showed a deep and unbelievable look. She hurriedly turned to look at Su Chang'e and said, "Sir, you are so good to Lianyue. What's wrong with you? What kind of pill? I took one, and it transformed me so much, and I also broke through so many realms." Su Chang'e smiled kindly. Lianyue actually attributed all this to her own elixir. This wave of good feelings is harvesting. It's beautiful. He smiled lightly and said, "Do you like it? I'll give it to you later." Su Lianyue nodded and whispered, "Yes, Lianyue likes it." Su Chang'e took another glass of water and handed it over, saying, "Are you thirsty? Have a drink." Su Lianyue was moved, took the water glass and drank it. Suddenly, the system prompt appeared again in front of Su Chang'e. Su Lianyue is drinking water, cultivation +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1 +1. Wow! What a terrifying talent, that he was shocked. Oh my God, where can I find such a good teammate? At this rate, on the day of the martial arts competition, it will be like a piece of cake for me to sweep the entire sect. It seems that the position of the saint is within reach. Sir, why do I feel that my cultivation is increasing little by little, as if it is increasing all the time? Is this normal? Do I have some strange disease? At this time, Su Lianyue looked up at him, her clear eyes revealing innocence. Su Chang'e touched her head and said, "Lianyue, you don't have to worry. The pill just now broke the shackles in your body, allowing you to be reborn and undergo a radical transformation. In the future, you only need to breathe and drink water step by step to increase your cultivation." After these words fell, Su Lianyue understood, her eyes suddenly lit up, and she was extremely excited. She grabbed Su Chang'e's arm and put it in her arms, saying, "My husband, thank you. If it weren't for you, Lianer would never have such a big transformation. You are Lianer's benefactor, and Lianer will never forget it for the rest of her life." Looking back on what happened during this period, she felt deeply incredible and couldn't believe that she had transformed like this. She was clearly a slave 3 days ago, living an inhuman life, but now, thanks to Gong's appearance, I have been reborn. He is like a ray of light, illuminating my dark life. Su Chang'e waved his hand and smiled. "Okay, Lianer, you don't need to say thank you, just keep it in your heart, I understand." Chapter 58 The Great Sun Golden Crow Inner Pill opens up a cave, and the whole clan is shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 58 A cave was opened inside the Golden Crow of the Great Sun, and the entire clan was in an uproar. After Su Lianyue was settled, Su Chang'e went outside. Su Lianyue's cultivation level has been growing, steadily strengthening bit by bit. He felt like he had found a treasure, and felt that he was slowly conquering her. Ah, what a strategy! He was clearly treating her well. Saint Xuan, this is no joke, how can you be hypocritical? At this moment, the system subsidy arrived on time. Bite! You gave away a maid, and the tens of billions of subsidies took effect, triggering a supercritical hit. Supercritical hit multiplier, 370,000 times. Congratulations to the host for getting, Big Sun Golden Crow NEI. Darajan Wunai. Su Chang'e's breathing became rapid for a moment. In ancient times, the Great Sun and the Golden Crow were rampant in the city. One claw could tear Mount Tai, one wing could cover the entire East China Sea, and its mouth could swallow the earth. It was extremely tyrannical. The system sounds, the inner part of the Great Sun Golden Crow, the inner part of the ancient beast the Great Sun Golden Crow has been condensed for thousands of years. It is the source of power in the Great Sun Golden Crow. The inner part contains extremely pure and rich cultivation. Power, if a monk takes it, he can achieve the conditions to open a hole in the body and open a hole. Wow! Awesome! Su Chang'e was so surprised that he almost jumped with excitement. After the Nirvana realm, there is the cave realm. The cave realm is completely different from other realms. It is a big threshold for monks on their way to practice. The reason is simple, before entering the cave realm, there was no need to cultivate anything in the body at all. At most, one only needed to refine the true energy. But the cave environment is different. Once you step into the cave realm, you need to open a cave in your body, otherwise your cultivation will stop at the first level of the cave realm and you will be unable to advance any further. However, the hole in the body is not so easy to open. Not only does it require extremely strong talent, but it also requires swallowing extremely powerful materials and treasures. Once a hole is opened, not only will one's strength skyrocket, but one's lifespan will also increase for 100 years, and one can even seize the land to build and nourish one's body. As far as Su Chang'e knew, many disciples of the sect were stuck at this level because they could not meet the conditions to open a hole in the body, and the inner part of the Big Sun Golden Crow he obtained was enough for him to open a hole and surpass countless people. What's more, the inside of the Big Sun Golden Crow is infinitely more terrifying than the ordinary treasure. It's so terrifying that it can't be measured. Hey, I gave Su Lianyue a treasure, and not only did she gain a lot of favor, but the system also subsidized this kind of treasure. This is simply a win. Su Chang'e suddenly thought of something again and smiled happily. Immediately, he lifted his feet and left here, heading to the cliff of the main peak. Don't let others disturb you when opening a hole, otherwise you will vomit a lot of blood, and in more severe cases, you will develop inner demons, so we need an extremely quiet place. The main peak is also a cliff with misty clouds and cascading waterfalls. In this waterfall, there is a water curtain cave with many practice rooms inside. This is a cave specially built by the sect master for his disciples. Disciples from each peak can use it. The sect master once ordered that once a disciple enters the training room, no one else can come forward to disturb him. Soon, Su Chang'e chose a training room and walked in. This training room is made of real gold, and the walls are extremely thick and solid. He didn't waste time, sat cross-legged, then took out the contents of the sun golden crow and swallowed it in one gulp. Boom! In an instant, there was an explosion in his body, like a nuclear bomb exploding in his body. The resulting wave instantly swept through hundreds of millions of cell particles. The endless blood cells in his body surged, and the sound of an army galloping on the battlefield erupted. Boom! Nirvana state, broken. Cave realm, start. The first level of the cave realm. After the monk steps into the cave, he needs to open the cave, and then he can continue to break upward. The holes in the body are divided into 3 levels according to the number opened: 1 3 seats, brave level, 3 6 seats, epic level, 6 9 seats, legendary level. To put it in layman's terms, opening 1 to 3 holes is a sign of extraordinary qualifications. 3 to 6 seats are the best, 6 to 9 seats, absolutely arrogant. In the belly of a sun golden crow, Su Chang'e felt an extremely pure and vast heat wave spread in his chest, and then quickly spread to all sides, with the chest as the center. Spreading to all the limbs and bones of his body. Boom! There was an explosion. The first cave has been opened. Immediately afterwards. Boom 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 boom, the deafening explosions continued continuously, the endless blood flowed violently in his body, there was a thunderous roar, and the holes in his body continued to open up. Cave. The third hole. The fourth hole. Cave no. The sixth hole. The seventh hole. The eighth hole. Cave. With the powerful nourishment in the great sun golden crow, Su Chang'e successfully opened up a cave in just a few breaths, reaching the legendary level. But he still felt that the power of cultivation contained in the great sun golden crow did not seem to be exhausted, and was still flowing through the body, continuing to open holes. This. Su Chang'e was shocked. Could it be that I could continue to dig holes upward? Boom! The 10th hole. The 11th cave. The 10th cave. The 13th cave. Instantly, waves of terrifying aura swept out from the training room, spread to the outside of the water curtain cave, rushed up, and rushed into the sky. Su Chang'e was speechless. Is it so terrifying? At this time, Lihua Peak, Yi Qingyao was feeding the goldfish in the courtyard. Suddenly, her eyelids jumped and she felt a magnificent aura sweeping out from the sect, rushing up into the sky, and her aura was long and strong. She was shocked and shocked. This, 13 caves. Oh my God, how is this possible? That she stared blankly into the void, feeling the magnificent aura fluctuations, and felt deeply shocked and incredible. Someone actually surpassed the legendary level and opened up 13 caves. Is this true? Who is it? Which disciple is this? Yi Qingyao's wrists trembled with excitement. She could never have imagined that there was such a terrifying disciple in the sect who could open up 13 caves in one fell swoop. This is, the most arrogant among the most arrogant. While thinking, she prayed in her heart, hoping that it was not a disciple of Tai Peak, otherwise the weird old man would be so happy. At the same time, not only Lihua Peak, but all the peaks of Taishan Dao sect were shaken. One after another, powerful figures rose into the air and stood in the void. Feeling the magnificent and unparalleled fluctuations of the breath, they were all shocked and speechless. Hiss. Which disciple is this? He is so terrifying. Hey. He opened up 13 caves. Is he still a human? I have lived for most of my life, but I have never seen anyone who opened up 13 caves. This boy should be the future of our Taishan Dao sect. There were discussions and shocks. These are the high-level people in the sect. They are all powerful figures in various peaks. Some of them are peak masters. At this moment, they feel the magnificent fluctuations in the water curtain cave. They are all shocked and unbelievable. At this moment, the water curtain cave erupted with a wave again. This wave is even more magnificent, like a vast and boundless deep sea, surging and surging, rumbling the air, and bursting with the sound of waves hitting the shore. In an instant, everyone on the scene was shocked and shocked. This. This is the 14th cave. Chapter 59. The leader was shocked, and the whole sect was shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom 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 boom. Su Changa's body erupted with continuous explosions, like huge waves in a river, surging and continuous, like thunder from the sky and fire from the earth, bursting out with unparalleled momentum. The 14th cave. The 15th cave. The 16th cave. The 17th cave. The 18th cave. As an extremely harsh explosion erupted from his body, in just a short moment, the number of caves in Su Changa's body reached a terrifying 18. Suddenly, an extremely terrifying aura wave swept out, rising from the ground, like a heavenly sword, sweeping across the void. The sky was filled with darkness, and many high-level sects felt the strong wind blowing in front of them. Waves surged like ocean waves, their robes stirred, and even threatened to explode. Their heads became more and more shocked. Unexpectedly, someone actually opened up 18 caves. What a god, I'm not dreaming, right? What level should a cave with this number be? I don't know. But it can be concluded that this boy will achieve extraordinary things in the future, far more than these old guys. This boy is really scary. I don't know which disciple of the peak, whoever wants to be his master will be so happy that he will tremble all over. Many senior executives looked excited and shocked, and their words could not conceal their shock and surprise. On the peaks below, countless disciples came running to stand on high places and look down the cliff, their eyes filled with shock and respect. They all felt dreamy at this moment. Oh my God, the 18 caves, are they so scary? Hiss. Who on earth is so powerful? The chief disciple of Tiantai Peak said in shock. Another peak was shocked and said, his 18 caves, crushing all our peaks. It's scary. Who is he? We need to get to know him as soon as possible and have a good relationship with him. Fengzhou even wanted to make friends. Buzz. At this moment, a bolt of lightning flashed through the void, and an astonishing coercion overflowed, crossing the universe and sweeping across the vast expanse. Ripples appeared in the void, and a middle-aged man stepped out. He had his hands behind his back, and his aura sank as deep as the sea, unfathomable. His eyes opened and closed, exuding an intimidating pressure. He was not angry but was powerful, making people dare not look directly at him. Immediately, a senior executive came forward and said, Sect Master. The other peak leaders also bowed in front of them. Sect Master. No courtesy. The middle-aged man is the leader of the Taishan Taoist sect, named Lin Wudi. He has been in charge of the Taishan Taoist sect for many years and knows countless secrets of the sect. Right now, he was looking at the water curtain cave below, feeling the majestic atmosphere, and his eyes flashed with shock and ecstasy. This son. His eyes suddenly became solemn, and he lost his voice. This son actually created a new record in the Holy Land in 10,000 years, and even the founder of the mountain was left far behind by him. As soon as this statement came out, there was an uproar all around. Set a new record in the Holy Land? Even the founding father was left far behind. Hiss. 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 A whole row of neat gasps suddenly sounded from the scene. Many peak masters know some secrets. Taishan Dao sect was founded thousands of years ago. At that time, it was called Taishan Holy Land. The founder was extremely talented and terrifying, and he stood at the top of the Eastern Dao domain. Everyone. Lin Wudi was ecstatic, clasped his hands and laughed. The founder of the mountain opened 13 caves back then, which are far beyond the legendary level. Now, there are disciples who have opened up 18 buildings, far more than him. Is the Taishan Dao sect going to shake the entire Dongdao domain? Ha 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 ha. He laughed heartily, and then said, this boy is far beyond the legendary level, and is several times more powerful than the founder of the mountain. He is one of a kind. If you grow up in the future, Taishan Dao sect may not be able to stand tall among thousands of people and lead the way. Ha ha ha. Lin Wudi's body was shaking with excitement, and he could hardly control his emotions. If he didn't want to be disturbed while opening up the cave, he would have to go into the water curtain cave to find this disciple and see who he was. As Lin Wudi finished speaking, everyone in the entire sect had their heads trembled and felt deeply shocked. Some of the top leaders of the peak masters are okay and can barely control their emotions, but on many peaks, especially Tiantai Peak, many disciples could not control their emotions. They stared blankly at the water curtain cave, falling into deep self-doubt. It feels even more like being beaten. Similar disciples, why do others open up 18 caves, but they only open 1 or 2? And some geniuses even fell into silence, feeling hit hard and feeling a deep sense of frustration. They felt like they were just rubbish compared to others. Alas, when this senior brother grows up in the future, he will definitely be someone that everyone looks up to. After a long time, Yu Tian finally adjusted his attitude and let out a sigh of shame, but more people have been greatly affected and their lives are unstable. Du Sihai, the leader of Tiantai Peak, stared blankly at all this, his head was shaken and he couldn't believe it. What happened today caused a big sensation in the sect. Countless people were either shocked, horrified, or feeling inferior. More people were overjoyed. The sect had produced a unique genius. As a fellow sect, they felt bright and their future path was stable. Who dares to provoke Z, the senior brother of such a tyrannical talent? Everyone, please step back. You are destined to be no match for him. Go back and stabilize your posture. Don't miss the mark. Lin Wudi coughed and gave the order. Everyone left one after another. After the whole venue was gone, Lin Wudi left with a swish. He could have predicted that when the martial arts competition began, this disciple would definitely burst out with strength, sweep all the way, beat all the opponents in the sect, and ascend to the position of the Son of God. Thinking of this, he laughed heartily. Only this boy is qualified to be the Son of God. What Lin Wudi didn't know was that after he left, the water curtain cave erupted with a terrifying wave again. Like the deep sea was boiled, the terrifying wave stretched for thousands of miles, swept across the mountains and rivers, and swept across. The 10th cave. The 20th cave. The 21st cave. The 22nd cave. Su Chang'e was still opening up the cave, and the roaring sound was endless. When he opened up 22 caves in one breath, his aura stabilized, gradually condensed in his body, and formed a deep power. He didn't know what happened in the outside world just now, he had been concentrating on opening up the cave. After a while, he exhaled a breath of turbid air, stood up, his eyes were bright and energetic, emitting a strong light, and the whole person changed greatly, as if he had been reborn. His skin became crystal clear like jade, emitting a porcelain white light, his face was full of energy and radiant. I have opened up 22 caves. If I make a move, I don't know how terrifying this attack will be. That the reason why there is a big threshold in the cave realm is that the cave in the body can bring a strong increase to the cultivator. When making a move, the cave in the body will transmit great power to the cultivator, bursting out amazing destructive power. At this moment, Su Chang'e suddenly discovered that with the completion of the development, his cultivation level soared straight up, and he had already entered the first level of the cave heaven realm. And the physical strength increased straight up by 20,000 jin, reaching the terrifying 40,000 level. The blood in his body was like a dragon, and a single arm shook 4 million jin of huge force, surging and boiling. Ha ha ha, refreshing. Immediately, he sat cross-legged and settled his cultivation. Outside world, after many people withdrew, they still couldn't hide their shock, and their faces changed again and again. Disciples from all peaks gathered together for intense discussions, and the scene was full of people, like a pot of boiling water. Hiss. I hope I don't meet that senior brother in the martial arts competition. Otherwise, it will be miserable. Alas, I don't want to. I hope you have better luck. After a while, these disciples gradually dispersed. At the same time, Tiantai Peak, in the meeting hall, the air was filled with murderous aura, and a masked man in black with a restrained aura stood respectfully in front of Du Sihai. Master, are you looking for me? As the first seat, Du Sihai glanced at him and said in a deep voice, Huang, I order you to take Qingyao's life at 3 o'clock tonight. The masked man in black is a deadly warrior. The name is Huang. He is at the 6th level of the cave realm, extremely powerful, and the sword maniac can't make any waves in front of him, and will be swept away with one move. Chapter 60, One move defeated the Death Warrior. Qingyao was shocked. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was night, it was dark and windy, a ferocious figure holding a knife sneaked into Lihua Peak. Wherever he passed, the trees swayed slightly, and a strong wind was blown up invisibly, and the true energy roared like the waves. It was the knife maniac. He held a golden-backed machete, and the white blade was like a wolf in the dark night with its fangs bared, dazzling, but he covered it with a black cloth. The task assigned to him by Du Sihai was to kill Qingyao silently, so he came here this time to assassinate. Once successful, he would also commit suicide. This is a dead soldier. And on the next day, Du Sihai would announce to the entire sect, last night, an enemy attacked and killed the leader of Lihua Peak, and the two sides fought to the death and died together. The cultivation of the knife maniac was far inferior to Qingyao, but he was a well-trained dead soldier, well-versed in the art of surprise and attacking when the enemy was unprepared, and had already swallowed a high-quality blood-burning pill in his body. The blood-burning pill can forcibly improve multiple cultivations, and improve multiple realms without regard for the consequences, allowing people to burst out with a moment of strength, and achieve a one-shot kill. When the effect of the drug fades, he will also be exhausted to the point of only having the last breath left, which is enough for him to commit suicide. This is the cleverness of Du Sihai's use of people. If he sends a higher-level death warrior to attack, it will definitely attract the attention of the sect master the next day, and the sect master will definitely guess that it was an assassination by people from other major forces. If he investigates it at that time, he will be in trouble. Du Sihai has always been watertight in doing things, and he will never allow himself to make such a low-level mistake. Soon, Dao Quang sneaked into the depths of Lihua Peak and came to the front of the courtyard. Suddenly, the moon showed a faint light, illuminating the entire mountain. Dao Quang's eyes condensed, and he hurriedly hid his body and ambushed in the bushes. At the same time, in the courtyard, in an elegant and quiet room, Qingyao was lying on the jade bed, having fallen asleep long ago, unaware that danger was lurking in front of her and death was approaching. Why do I feel something is wrong? She felt that the atmosphere around her seemed to have suddenly become much more solemn, as if there were flashes of swords and shadows, and a sharp murderous intent was ready to go. She opened her eyes, but saw nothing in front of her. Is it my illusion? That she shook her head, laughed at herself for being too suspicious, and then went back to sleep. Outside, Dao Quang held back for a long time, and the moonlight finally disappeared, and the entire Lihua Peak fell into darkness. A grim smile appeared on his face. He drew his sword out of its sheath, and jumped out of the bushes. I saw a black shadow approaching the gate of the courtyard quickly, with agility and extreme sharpness. Swish! At this moment, a magnificent momentum rose from the main peak, and then converged. The breath sank inward, and then a figure in white rose into the air and stepped onto the pear blossom peak in an instant. It was Su Chang'e. After opening up a full 22 caves, he needed to settle down for a while, and because the number of caves was extremely terrifying, far exceeding that of ordinary people, he needed more time to settle down. Now, the settling down was finally completed. As soon as he stepped here, he raised his eyebrows suddenly. He saw a black shadow from the corner of his eye. Although the black shadow flashed by, he still noticed it. Who is it? Su Chang'e shouted, and the dragon-slaying sword immediately appeared in his hand. He activated the Taichu Yin-Yang ghost step and appeared directly behind the sword maniac. Dao Quang also heard a roar from behind. Before he could react, he felt a strong wind whistling behind him, and his true energy was surging and surging, like a tornado, and a huge heavy knife was slashing towards him. Oh no, I've been discovered. Dao Quang also reacted quickly, turned around in an instant, stimulated the effect of the medicine in his body, and then attacked with a knife. Bang! There was an explosion in the silent night, and the two big knives slashed together fiercely, and suddenly stars flew everywhere, bursting in all directions. At the moment when the two knives slashed, Dao Quang only felt a shock in his wrist, and his arms were numb from the shock. The blood in his body surged, and he couldn't bear it, and flew backwards. Boom! He staggered backwards, crashed through the courtyard wall, and staggered to the ground. Before he could get up, he realized that a big knife was already on his neck. This made his pupils shrink and he was shocked. What happened? Lihua Peak actually had such a master. Su Chang'e held the dragon-slaying sword, and the sharp blade pierced Dao Kuang's neck 3 times, cutting a crack. The bright red blood oozed from Dao Kuang's Adam's apple, and he shouted coldly, "Who sent you here? Tell me." "You are dreaming." Dao Kuang knew that his mission had failed, grinned, and made a prompt decision to activate the secret method to destroy his soul and die. The speed was fast, the decisiveness was fast, it caught Su Chang'e off guard. This person is not ordinary. Su Chang'e frowned slightly, realizing that things were not that simple. He turned his head to look at Tiantai Peak, only to see that it was dark and quiet in the night, and there was no handle. Good, it's sinister enough. Although there was no handle, Su Chang'e also vaguely guessed that this must have been done by Tiantai Peak. The reason is obvious. I have only made enemies with Tiantai Peak these days, and I have no contact with other peaks. So, it must be them. But I can't find any evidence. This villain is too cunning. Immediately, he lowered his head and began to search Dao Kuang. Who? Suddenly, the door of the courtyard opened, and Qingyao came out wearing a light veil. Her cheeks slightly changed color. The huge movement just now startled her. But after she came out, she only saw a figure in white hurried away, like a residual shadow passing by, as fast as the wind, and disappeared in the blink of an eye, and on the road in front of her, there was a corpse of a masked man in black. This. She glanced at the man in black, and then glanced at the broken courtyard wall, and a flash of enlightenment suddenly flashed in her eyes. She was very smart, and after thinking carefully, she immediately deduced something. Is this person here to attack me? But he was discovered by the figure in white halfway, and the two fought each other. In other words, the man in white saved me. The courtyard wall collapsed, which means that the masked man in black flew out of the yard. Then, the whole story can be deduced. The masked man in black was going to sneak into the courtyard to attack her, but at the critical moment, the figure in white rushed over, attacked, knocked the masked man in black out, crashed through the courtyard wall, and then killed him. Who is that figure in white, and why did he save me? Qingyao's pupils shrank slightly, and she felt a strong sense of disbelief. Why did he save her for no reason? But he did it. Who could it be? She thought again and again, and her mind kept recalling the swift white figure just now, trying to search for this figure from her memory, but after thinking about it, she still couldn't locate it. In the end, she had to give up locating it. P.S. Today's update is at 7 o'clock in the morning. Although the scheduled time is 10 o'clock every morning, it will sometimes be updated in advance, and it will never be postponed. I wish you all a happy reading. Window_Taboola equals window_Taboola_Taboola.push mode, thumbs, feed 01, container, Taboola, below, article, thumbnail, 300x250, placement, below article thumbnail, 300 by 250, target_type, mix.